Welcome to Psalm 84. Another one I think I'm going to change as far as the title to the Lord of the Forces. And you'll see why as we go through. It begins, I'll read some Greek and then we'll go into the Psalm. Isto telos, hyper ton linon tis is kora, psalmos. Os agapita ta skenomata su Kyrie ton dynameon. It starts off, the Lord of the Forces. To the director, as many psalms have that, a psalm, then over, instead of far, over the wine vats, to the sons of Korah. Now, probably the grape harvest, a song for the grape harvest is what I'm guessing, and the sons of Korah were actually the people that were left after the revolt of Korah, the man who led them at the time of the Exodus and who revolted against the rule of Moses, and the earth opened up and swallowed him and the people that followed him. But many of the sons of Korah continued on, and here we see them mentioned. How agapita, agape, how beloved are your tents. There it is, O Lord of the Forces, and we'll see this title more places. Now, what I see about his is they always say the name Kyrie. To me, it's not a name, it's a title. He's the Lord of the Forces. He's not George of the Forces or Harry of the Forces or Yahweh of the Forces. I just don't see that. To me, it gives credence to what I've been teaching all along, that this is more of a title, and the name of God is Jesus. Continues, my psyche, soul, longs after and falters for the courtyards of the Lord. I see this possibly being written by a man who was in the military. Could have been a general, or could have been David, or could have been some person that is in war. And he is going through a hard time. When you're fighting somebody and you're in battle, which I have never experienced. My father did. He was in the First and the Second World War. The First World War, he was in the Canadian Army, and then English Army, and then Second World War, he was in the United States Coast Guard. My half-brother, my mother's other son, was killed in the Battle of the Bulge with George Patton's Fifth Army, buried in the Lorraine Cemetery on the border of France and Germany. He was awarded the Silver Star, and because of his death, I was able to become a sole surviving son from my mother, and therefore deferred from going into Vietnam. It was a deferment for the mother. If she didn't ask for it, then I could have been drafted. But when the mother seeks it, then they give it, and the sole surviving son, nothing you can do. You can't, if you wanted to go to Vietnam, if you wanted to go to war, you couldn't because of the sole surviving son. So I have not personally experienced warfare, but it must be horrible. I'm sure many of you out there listening have experienced it and probably have nightmares over it. And I had a friend who was in the Second World War and in the Pacific Campaign, and I started asking him about it, which was a big, big mistake. And he was 10 or 15 years older than me. And he started breaking up and crying and thinking back on all the stuff. And why did I bring this up? It must have been horrible. This what you have to go and kill somebody with a bayonet and stick it in their body. And, just horrible what you could see in war. So I can fathom this psalm as being for the man who has to go to war. And it continues, my heart and my flesh exulted over the living God. If you have God on your side and you know he's with you, then you can rest assured that He will do what he sees fit for you. If you're walking with him, you may lose your life, but so be it. That this is what he wants. We're all going to lose our life. For even the sparrow finds for himself a house, and the turtle dove a nest for herself, where she puts her own nestlings. Your altars, O Lord, and I'm sure the person that's in battle away from this house and family, it must be very difficult, and he wants to be home with just like this bird is able to be in its nest with its family. And there is the Lord of the forces again. Here, my King and my God. So the writer is calling the Lord of the forces a king and God. Blessed are the ones dwelling in your house into the eons of the eons. They shall praise you. Again, this eons of the eons for your aeonialists with don't like the part the adjective I use with eternity and everlasting. Well, it is eons of the eons, and it's not just for God, it's for man dwelling in your house to the eons. They shall praise you. Pause. Blessed is, I changed that, a man in whom is the assistance to him from you, and maybe in war. In his heart he ordained ascending into the valley of the place of weeping, into the place which he put himself, a battlefield, possibly. For even the ones establishing law will give a blessing, and that is God. He will still bless, even in the warfare. They shall go from force to force. See, now here we got force to force. Dynamios, dynamite comes from that. It's military. They shall see the God of gods in Zion. There's a small g. O Lord, Kyrie, the God of the forces, again the forces, the military, listen to my prayer. And I can see a man who's on the battlefield laying there, he's wounded or going into battle, that he's crying out to God, listen to my prayer, God, please. This is horrible. Give ear, O God of Jacob. Then the pause. Behold, O God, our defender, look into the face of your anointed one. Now, he's a defender, so there we have another sort of a military term, hyperaspista, shield holder. And look into the face of your anointed. Now, the Christou, we have Christ, comes from that word. Now, is this about Jesus? All of a sudden, it's something you're anointed? Or is it the King David who was anointed? Could be either one. For better is one day in your courtyards than thousands, and I'm guessing what he means by thousands of days that you're not in the courtyards, and especially if you're at war. I would choose to be thrown aside in the house of my God rather than for me to live among the tents of sinners. Now that's a truism for the Christian, but we do have to live among the tents of sinners. The Lord brings us there to tell them. For the Lord loves mercy and truth. And Jesus says he is the truth, and he definitely has had mercy over many people by going to the cross, dying in his resurrection, and being able to ransom us from the devil and Satan and Hades. God shall give favor and glory. That is to us. Favors us. A lot of times when we're having a rough time, especially in the military, he gives favor and he gives glory and victory, possibly. The Lord will not deprive good things to the ones going in innocence. I suppose if you're in warfare, you wouldn't think of yourself as being innocent, but a person that is in warfare cannot be called a murderer. Basically, the government is sending you, and you obey the government, And it's not the same as a man who takes somebody else's life on purpose and murders them. O Lord, the God of the forces, is like the fourth place. Blessed is the man hoping upon you. And you can be in that place in the military on the battlefield where there's nothing else to hope on. It's a hopeless situation. You may know you're going to be killed, but you can still hope upon the deliverer of Jesus. Psalm 85, the Lord offers deliverance, salvation in the King James. Find out how he does this if you watch the next video seminar. Hope you do. Till then, God bless.